Hello everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having a good week. Okay, so last week I did a topic on women, on an ideal woman, so I thought it was only fair to balance it out this week. So I'm going to be doing something on men. Now, one thing I've noticed is that a lot of people tend to give advice or about relationship based on maybe something they've experienced or something maybe someone they know has experienced or something. So you see a lot of people say, oh yeah, my friend went through this with a man, so all men are this. My friend went through that with a man, so all men are that. So but the thing is, not every woman is your friend, and not every man is the man she was dating. So I thought, I hate to talk about those things from off the top of my head. So I thought, let's go back to the very beginning, to the story of creation, and see what was expected of men. Now, please, almost everybody has heard about the story of creation, irrespective of your religion. But if for whatever reason you haven't heard about it, so even whether you subscribe to it or not, a lot of people have heard about it. But if you haven't, you can always refer to Google. Like I've always said, I do not like to talk about these things off the top of my head. I like to use character comparison. So you can refer to Google if you do not know the story of creation. So first of all, point one, God said, let us make a man in our own image, after our likeness, and let him have dominion. I think I've done a few topics talking about the image of God. So first of all, to know a man in God's image, you have to know God. And when you understand who God is, then it's easier to pinpoint a man that is in God's image, after God's likeness, and it has to have dominion. So I looked up the word dominion. So this is a man that has to have authority, authority over his life, authority over his home, over his finances, over his business. See, as a woman, as a woman, a lot of women think choosing a life partner is all fun and games. They look at the basic things. Okay, who is what does he have? A good job? Does he have a home? Does he have money? What family is he from? So just people look at the outward surface, very basic things. Those things are very important, do not get me wrong. But it goes a lot deeper than that when you're talking about the rest of your life. But based on societal pressures, based on expectations, people think, okay, you know what, I'm of age now, so let me just look for the next guy that has all those qualities and I'm good to go. So anyway, and then 5 years down the line, you're hearing a different story. But as a woman, a lot of men will approach you. Doesn't mean they are all husband material, and this is what dating is usually for. But you see, dating has been twisted into I actually heard somebody say, oh well, if I take you out to dinner, then you must follow me home to sleep with me. So this is what dating has been reduced to, when really what it is a time for collecting data. And when I say data, I'm not talking about network phone data, I'm talking about information. This is the time to figure out who this person is, collect as much information. Now, if you don't talk to somebody, how would you know who they are? That's what I don't understand about it. So dating doesn't always have to be, oh, let's go out to a fancy restaurant or whatever it is. No, you could tell the person, join me for a run, let me invite you to my place of worship, and then you can look at little behaviors. Do you understand? You can look at little things and collect your data from there. Because out of about 5 to 10 suitors, you still have to narrow it down to one that almost suits the bill. It's just in this day and age, when people see man and woman, oh, there's got to be something between them. Oh, because people have twisted dating so much. It's not a time for collecting data anymore. Once a man stands next to a woman, they have to be having sex. It doesn't make any sense. So like I was saying, this is a man that has to have dominion. This is a man that speaks with authority. His words hold power. When he says something, it's something you can actually take to the bank. For instance, let me give you an example. You get to your bank and your account manager is saying to you, there's no money in your account, and you're saying to that person, check again, because this person said he had done the transfer. His word is as good as money, because this is somebody you can trust their word. This is somebody that when they speak, they don't just talk for talking's sake. They are not talking to tell lies. They're not talking to impress you. They're not talking for any. They are speaking because As long as they tell you something, you can take that word to the bank. So you're saying to your bank manager, check again. No, you know what? Check again. Maybe the network. You're prepared to wait at the bank for hours because you know this person would never send you on a fool's journey. Does that make any sense? Point 2, God formed man out of dust and he became a living soul. Now, what's a living soul? Is the part of a person that experiences deep emotions. Now, or deep feelings. So when people start to tell you that, oh, men are not supposed to be emotional, men are not supposed to be this, men are not supposed to be that, that's not true. Because if a man is a living soul, he's subject to experience empathy, he's subject to experience compassion, he's subject to experience sympathy. If something is experiencing is able to can bring tears to his eyes, let the man be. Let him be himself, for crying out loud. Even Jesus wept. Jesus wept when he was called to raise Lazarus. When he got to the city, he saw Lazarus' sister Mary and Martha. He saw them crying, and he saw the whole community, people crying as well. He wept out of compassion. He wasn't weeping because he could not raise him up. No, he raised him up eventually. He wept because of out of compassion and empathy towards them. That's the reason why he wept. It was recorded that when he saw them crying, he felt troubled in his spirit. You know, he felt it in his spirit. He felt troubled and he felt sad and he started to weep. So the fact that, see, the problem with a lot of people is you want somebody that is cold-hearted, you want somebody that is soulless, and then you wonder when they treat you badly and they don't feel anything. That's why it's imperative above all else to choose a kind partner. Do you understand? A compassionate partner, a man with a living soul. You know, I saw a post recently, and you know, actually 2 different posts. One, a man was saying something about, oh, when your wife is pregnant, just ignore her, all that tiredness and everything is just drama. Then another one, a woman had actually lost her pregnancy because her husband felt like everything she was going through was drama. So he would make her run in the morning, make her just ignore her symptoms and everything, and then she lost her pregnancy. Do you understand? It's imperative. And a lot of people still even didn't see anything wrong with that. Do you understand? There's a problem with things like that. But you want to tell me that this woman at some point during the dating period could not tell this man has no soul? She could tell, but it was more important like, oh, I'm of age now and let me just get married, let me choose one, let me just choose a partner. It is imperative that you choose a man with a living soul. Point 3, God created all sorts of living animals and Adam names them. But when he created Eve, Adam actually recognized her and he said, this is the flesh of my flesh, the bone of my bone. Now, what I'm trying to say is the man that is created for you will recognize you. Why? Because this is a man of discernment. He will be able to discern that this is the right woman for me. So it's not going to be about competing with other women. It's not going to be about cooking more. It's not going to be about dressing more seductive. It's nothing to do with that. Do you understand? He will recognize you because he's a man with discernment. Now, this is a man after God's own image. He's a praying man. Push comes to shove, he will go on his knees in prayers. He will seek the face of God to actually find out if whatever it is he's feeling is correct about you. Do you understand? So the next point, a man shall leave his father and his mother and cling onto his wife. Now, you see, the irony of this is it's usually the woman that actually moves out of her father's house and her mother's house and goes into her husband's house. So why then do you think the Bible instructed men and not women? It's because women are naturally supposed to leave their homes, supposed to leave their fathers and their mothers, but you see, a lot of men mentally do not detach from their mother's apron strings. A lot of men don't detach. So as much as they don't have to physically move, do you understand? Mentally, they're still attached to their parents' apron strings. Now, you see, I have seen a lot of things that people keep asking. So who is more important, your mother or your wife? There's no comparison. Where's the comparison? Because it says, leave to cleave. A man shall leave his father and his mother and cling on to his wife, and they shall become one. When you're already one with your partner, how is it that there's no comparison anymore? So when you say who is more important, your wife or your mother, your wife is already one with you. Does that make any sense? The wife is already one with the husband, so there's no comparison. As for the woman, when she marries the man, his mother becomes her mother, his people becomes her people, his God becomes his God. So there's nothing to drag, which means the mother is also her mother. So there's no comparison here, there's no competition. Do you understand? There's nothing to compete about. Next point is that they were both completely naked and without shame. So this isn't physical nakedness, this is being able to create a relationship where there's complete openness and transparency, even down to your flaws, without fear of being judged by the other person. Does that make any sense? You should be able to be transparent with your partner completely and utterly. Now, a lot of men believe that, oh, you can't tell a woman this, or you can't tell a woman that, or a woman is not cannot handle this and that. And truth be told, you know, sometimes they are right. Trust is earned. So even if you have to take baby steps into trusting the woman, that's what you have to do. Because if you want a relationship that is stable and is long-term, transparency is very, very important. So like I said, even if you don't trust the woman enough to give her certain information, you have to start taking baby steps because trust is earned. So that's understandable. The woman took the apple that God had instructed them not to eat, ate some and took it to the man, and the man ate as well. Now, even as a man, it's very important to choose right, because, you know, there's a saying that says behind every successful man is a woman. A woman has a lot of influence, especially when she's married to the man, in a man's life. Do you understand? A woman has a lot of influence, which is why it's imperative even for a man to choose right. But now let's go back to the beginning where it says a man has to have dominion, which is a man that has authority over his life, over his home, over his family, isn't it? Okay, so even when the woman is being out of character and she's listening to bad advice outside, do you understand? And she's trying to convince the man that, no, let's do it this way, all our friends are doing it this way, let's do this. Now, because this is a man that has dominion, this is a man after God's image, is a praying man, his instructions comes directly from God. It's not, he doesn't listen to friends. He doesn't, not that he wouldn't listen to his wife, but if God has given him a specific instruction, do you understand, that do this, don't do this, no matter how much somebody else, he can't be easily beguiled. He can't be easily beguiled by a woman. He can't be easily beguiled by friends, by family. He knows exactly what he heard from God. That is why it's important that one chooses a man, a praying man, a man with discernment, and a man that has dominion. Then finally, God called on to Adam, and Adam was hiding because now his eyes were open and he realized that they were naked. Now, God called onto Adam and not Eve. Why is that? Because Adam is the head of the home. He's the head of the household. The instruction was given to Adam directly. He shouldn't have allowed himself to be beguiled by a woman. Now, so what did he do? He started to shift the blame. He was like, oh no, it's not me, it's the woman you gave me. The woman you gave me brought the apple, blah 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 blah. And that angered God, and he cursed them and cast them out of the Garden of Eden. Why? Because you are the man, you are the head of the household. You should understand the woman is the weaker vessel. Do you understand? That can, yes, she can be beguiled. She's supposed to be stronger than that, but she can be beguiled. But the instruction was given directly to the woman. And then when God came to ask him, he didn't take responsibility. He shifted the blame onto the woman. Now, this is a woman that was created as a helpmate for you. Do you understand? She shouldn't be the one making decisions that overrides the instructions of God. Does that make any sense? So, a woman, when choosing a life partner, do not conform to societal pressures of settling or choosing the first man that approaches you. No, it's a time for collecting data, that which is information. It's a time to seek the face of God, to be and take enough time to be sure and certain that this is a man that only exists in the image and likeness of God. Namaste.